everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why I would buy a less than perfect bag and why you might want to consider buying a less than perfect bag as well. Now, everybody has their so-called standards as to what they're going to accept if they're buying a bag pre-loved, whether it's from eBay, the Real, Fashionphile. I don't want to get into, who has the best bags, because generally you can find a winner pretty much anywhere, and you can find a loser anywhere, even brand new. So I bought my fair share of pre-loved and vintage bags, and there are a lot of things that I look for when I decide to make the plunge. So I've made some pretty big purchases on bags that I knew by looking at the information that I had they were going to be fine. Maybe there was a tiny little fleck of something and a small imperfection that no one would see. But the bag that I bought that was in the worst condition when I actually purchased it was my Chanel PTT. And I want to talk a little bit more about why I bought it and what it's like now that I've given it the TLC that it deserved. So first of all, this bag is from 1998. So it's 25 plus years old, 26 years old. It's up there in bag years. It's Vernis, which is a really hard material to maintain. But this bag is very special. First of all, it's a first generation PTT. Second of all, I thought that the combination on this bag was just absolutely beautiful. If you notice, and I didn't notice this in the beginning, the stitching in the quilting is actually pink. The interior of the bag is pink. So the pink and orange combination really, really got me. Now I'm going to insert a picture, hopefully, of what this bag looked like when it was listed on Fashionphile. There were a couple of small marks. There were some sticky spots on the outside. Inside looked good. The zipper was still functional and was attached. So all of that was just fine. But when I got it, I had to do some cleaning up. So what I did was assess what was on the exterior versus what was actually a stain in the patent leather or discoloration in the patent leather. And one of the things that this bag really had going for it is that the patent leather was evenly colored all over. So it didn't have that color fade or color change that you often see with Vernis bags. It was even everywhere. And it might be really difficult to see, but this is kind of like an iridescent and glittery sort of color. Hopefully you could get a little bit of that sense. It really looks different in a lot of different lights. So that was my number one. I knew if the exterior basically was in good shape and there was no fading anywhere, that this was going to be a good bag. The next thing that I looked for is the hardware damaged? And the hardware was not damaged. So I knew that there were a couple of places that maybe I wouldn't be able to get marks from, but I was able to take off all the exterior marks with alcohol, rubbing alcohol on a Q-tip, rubbing very, very carefully and very gently on the leather so that it wasn't going to leave a mark. Now, this bag, I was very lucky, doesn't have corner wear. So that wasn't a concern for me at all. The other issue that this had is that the sides, you could see that the sides have some wrinkling. It was much, much worse than this, but what I discovered is you could use a hair dryer, put the hair dryer on a low setting, let this get warm, and then just kind of smooth it out with your hand. So I dried it actually with my hand in the back of this section, and then I put it on the cool setting. You know how you do the cool setting, and I let it cool, and it brought a lot of structure back to the sides. And I actually did that today because I just kind of wanted to do a little bit more to it and make it the best that I can. Now, this bag's been changed over the years, but I'll get into that in a second. Now, where the hardware is, and Chanel stopped using this silver hardware, it does leave an oxidation mark at the top. So I'm wondering if anybody watching might be able to give me some tips as to how I could possibly remove that, because that's the only mark that I really haven't been able to get out. And when you're looking at it from the front, you really can't see it. You have to really look at the top. And does it bother me? No, it doesn't bother me. I'm going to use it, and if I had bought this new for $5,000, or probably a bag like this today would be closer to like 6 or 7, it could possibly get a mark anyway. So I was great with it as was, because when I take this bag out, I don't really worry about it so much. It has 4 feet on the bottom. All the feet are in excellent condition. Nothing's missing. There's a little bit of, I guess the bottom of it is fairly straight, but you could see that through the years it's gotten a little bit out of shape, but nothing terrible. The other thing that I did was buy an organizer from Zumoni that fits the PTT. However, this is made for the new model PTT. I did get pink. So let me show you what it looks like inside. It does fit, but it doesn't fit very tightly because the new PTT has 2 exterior pockets. Now, the top of this bag has a zipper. You have to connect it like you would have to connect a zipper on a coat or a jacket. And it's not easy to zip. But I found that with the organizer in it and with the bag not zipper closed, I could leave the top of it like this, and it also helps to give a little bit of shape to the sides. I am proud to walk out with this bag and to use it and to love it. And I do so without any cares. So my question is, if you're opposed to buying pre-love, at what point do you say, no, this isn't for me? I mean, for me, I'm fine with taking a little bit of time to give some love to a bag like this that I probably would never have a chance to get, because these first edition bags are very rare, and to find one in really excellent condition is even more rare, and the prices for them are very high. At least $2,500 or maybe better, which for a vintage bag that's not a classic flap is a pretty high price. Now, Chanel redid this bag, and they took away the top zipper as it is, and they made it with a center zip compartment and 2 pockets front and back, and made the straps longer. This really is only a top handle or crook of the arm. I mean, you're not really going to get this over your shoulder. I mean, it's just too short. It's a really short 6-inch drop, so it's not really going to be a shoulder bag on anybody. So again, this is something that you cannot buy new. It's just not available. So my guide typically for buying a pre-loved bag is, if it's a pre-loved bag, if I can't possibly buy it new, then I'm really going to have to consider it. Yes, I'd like to get things in the best condition possible, but I'm really of the mindset that if it's a very small flaw and if the price is right, I'm fine with it. I don't have any qualms whatsoever. I don't feel like I'm getting hoodwinked. I don't feel like I'm getting raked over the coals. I don't feel like I'm above having a mark somewhere where, you know, I'm not talking about something that's trashed. I'm talking about something that might have a small defect or scuff or some kind of a very minor blemish that I can work with. But I'm not I'm not the kind of person that's going to say, oh, well, you know, this is never going to be me, because no matter what bag you buy, once you use it, it's going to start to show wear. It's just a fact, guys. It's inevitable. And for me, there's no point in buying something unless it's going to be something that I'm going to be able to use and enjoy. if this were $5,000, I would use it and enjoy it, but I definitely wouldn't be as carefree as I am. So I kind of almost feel like, since there's a couple little warts that were on it when I bought it, I don't really feel that, anxiety about, oh, I'm going to put it in this room and, it's going to be too hot or too cold, or, it's raining, it's too sunny, it's too this, it's going to touch something that might not be clean. I don't worry about any of that stuff, because I bought it so that I could use it and enjoy it. My blue bag, the blue hobo bag, I'm really careful with that bag. I don't take it out in the rain. I don't take it anywhere where I think that it's going to get snatched off my shoulder. I don't wear it in the snow. I don't wear it if I'm going to have to set it down someplace on a table, for instance, where it could possibly get a stain. But she's resistant to stains. It's Vernis. You can get Vernis and wipe it off. The rain, not going to hurt it. Something scrapes on it. Well, you don't want to scrape patent, but if I brush up against something and a little dirt goes on it, it's just going to get wiped clean. It's not really a big deal. Putting heavy things in it and distorting the shape, no, I'm fine with it as it is. I could just buy a bigger bag organizer and stretch it out even more. So that's just my feelings on buying pre-loved. So I'm not opposed to getting something that's not perfect. And I think that as prices go up and up and up, really more and more people are considering buying bags pre-loved, and you should always look into whether you're going to get a great deal and possibly find something that suits what your needs are, and whether you're going to be able to get a good deal or not. And I got this. I pretty much knew what I was getting into. I didn't go over it with a magnifying glass and look for every flaws and try to tell the real that there was something wrong with this bag, or that there was something that was undisclosed. If it was a brand new bag and if it was something that I paid above retail for, sure I would. But my expectations anytime you're buying pre-loved are that it's going to have some sign of use. It's just the reality of it. And if you're someone who would not consider pre-loved, I mean, that's great on you. I buy probably 95% of my bags new, but every once in a while a gem comes along, and it's really hard to say no. Very, very hard to say no. So that's my thoughts. That's some information on how I got this back to pretty much its original glory. And I don't know, guys, what do you think? What are your feelings about, what kind of flaws or what kind of perfection you expect from a pre-loved bag? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching. If you're new, please consider subscribing. And if you're coming back, I love you guys and I really appreciate it. Most of the people who watch my channel are not subscribed, so if you've watched a couple of videos, hit that button. I'm completely free. Well, not free with everything, but you know what I mean. It's free entertainment. So join me. I try to do videos 3 times a week, and I will see you guys on Saturday. See you soon. Bye-bye.